Have a pleasant day, everyone. Once again, this is your biology teacher, Teacher Glenn. And our topic for today is all about cell structure and organization. Basic concepts. Objectives. Describe and compare the structure of a plant cell with an animal cell, as seen under a light microscope, limited to cell wall, nucleus, cytoplasm, chloroplast, vacuoles, and location of the cell membrane. State the functions of the structures seen under the light microscope in a plant cell and in the animal cell. The basics of cell structures. Cytoplasm is found inside the cell and contains all the other cell structures. The large nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane to separate it from the cytoplasm. The cell membrane surrounds the cell. The cell wall is made up of cellulose and surrounds the cell membrane in plant cells. Chloroplasts are organelles found in the cytoplasm that are packed with the pigment chlorophyll and so are green in color. Vacuoles are large vesicles that take up a large part of the interior of plant cells. We have here a diagram that shows an animal and plant cell as seen under a light microscope. So, for the animal cell, it has a cell membrane, a nucleus, and a cytoplasm. And for a plant cell, it has a cell membrane, a nucleus, cytoplasm, as well as a cell wall, a permanent vacuole, and chloroplast. Advanced concepts. Objectives. State that the cytoplasm of all cells contains structures limited to ribosomes on rough endoplasmic reticulum and vesicles. Next, state that almost all cells, except prokaryotes, have mitochondria and rough endoplasmic reticulum. Next, identify mitochondria and rough endoplasmic reticulum in diagrams and images of cells. Next, state that aerobic respiration occurs in mitochondria. And lastly, state that cells with high rates of metabolism require large numbers of mitochondria to provide sufficient energy. Cell structures. Within the cytoplasm, the following organelles are visible in almost all cells except prokaryotes when looking at a higher magnification. Example when using an electron microscope. Mitochondria, or singular mitochondrion. Mitochondria are organelles found throughout the cytoplasm. Ribosomes are tiny structures that can be free within the cytoplasm or attached to a system of membranes within the cell known as endoplasmic reticulum. Next, endoplasmic reticulum studded with ribosomes looks rough under the microscope. This gives rise to its name of rough endoplasmic reticulum, often shortened as RER. The other type of endoplasmic reticulum is known as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which of course doesn't have any ribosomes in it. And lastly, vesicles. Vesicles can also be seen using a higher magnification. These are small circular structures found moving throughout the cytoplasm. The diagram shows the structures in an animal cell that is visible under a light microscope and under an electron microscope. Under a light microscope, these are the visible parts or structures: the nucleus, cell membrane, and the cytoplasm. Using an electron microscope, you can see the following structures: nucleus, cell, cytoplasm, as well as ribosomes and mitochondria. The diagram below shows you the structures in a plant cell that are visible under a light microscope and an electron microscope. Under a light microscope, these are the following visible structures. Of course, you have the cell wall, the cell membrane, the nucleus, the permanent vacuole, the cytoplasm, and the chloroplast. Under an electron microscope, the following structures are revealed. Of course, you have the cell membrane, the cell wall, the permanent vacuole, the cytoplasm, the chloroplast, as well as the ribosomes and the mitochondria. The basic functions of cellular structures. Structure: nucleus. The function contains genetic material in chromosomes which control how cells grow and work. It controls cell division. Cytoplasm supports cell structures, site of many chemical reactions, contains water and many solutes. Cell membrane holds the cell together, controls substances entering and leaving the cell. Cell wall gives the cell extra support and defines its shape. Chloroplast, sites of photosynthesis, providing food for plants. The chlorophyll pigments absorb light energy needed for the reaction to occur. And lastly, vacuole contains cell sap, used for storage of certain materials and also helps support the shape of the cell. Functions of subcellular structures. Structure: mitochondria. Function: site of aerobic respiration, providing energy for the cell. It is sometimes called the powerhouse of the cell. Cells with high rates of metabolism or carrying out of many different cell reactions will have significantly higher numbers of mitochondria than cells with lower numbers of reactions taking place in them. An example of a cell that contains a lot of mitochondria is the muscle cell or muscle cells. Next, ribosomes, site of protein production in protein synthesis. And lastly, vesicles, used to safely transport substances from one part of the cell to another. Now let's proceed to past paper questions. Are you ready? Question 1. Which row of the table below correctly matches functions to some of the components in a root hair cell? The correct answer is A. Question 2. Which of the following orders would be correct showing the size of structures from the biggest to the smallest? And the correct answer is C. Question 3. A list of subcellular structures is given below. Number 1, nucleus. Number 2, ribosomes. Number 3, vacuole. Number 4, chloroplast. A plant cell and an animal cell are observed under a light microscope. Which of the following structures would always be visible in a plant cell? And the correct answer is B. Question 4. Which of the following terms would be correct to describe a leaf, a root, and a stem? And the correct answer is C. Question 5. The diagram below shows part of an organism, ciliated epithelium. What term would correctly describe the level of organization of the structure in the diagram above? And the correct answer is A. The salivary glands contain cells which are responsible for producing salivary amylase, a digestive enzyme. Which organelles would be present in a large numbers in cells of the salivary glands? And the correct answer is D. Question 7. Which row of the table below correctly describes the structures present in a bacterial cell? And the correct answer is C. Question 8. Which row of the table below correctly describes a spongy mesophyll cell? And the correct answer is C. Question 9. Which description of the liver below is correct? And the correct answer is C. Question 10. Which row of the table below correctly matches a structure to its level of organization within an organism? The correct answer is A.